Pod in the City is a Sex in the City podcast and thus contains adult themes and explicit content. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Pod in the City. I'm Amanda.
And I'm John.
We're two besties who bonded over Sex in the City in college.
And now, 20 years later, we're reliving it like it's our very first time. Season 2, Episode 9. Old dogs, new dicks. Carrie tries to change Big, having had enough of his annoying habits. Samantha discovers that her old boyfriend is a drag queen. And Charlotte pursues an uncircumcised man. They don't mention Miranda and Steve having the love story of the century.
Yeah, actually, that story is super relatable, I think, especially now that we're older. I was like, I was giggling during the opening because I was looking at you in like the little corner thing because we both have to hide behind the thing. And you just are so funny because you're like staring ahead, but you're smiling. You just like, we're both just crunched into the corner. This is what we
I mean, maybe with season 3, we could adjust our intro. I'm starting to hate listening to myself.
Oh yeah, so starting to. Anyway, guys, welcome to Pod in the City. This is a good episode. I mean, I feel like they're all going to be good.
John and Amanda, y'all.
Yeah,
this is a good episode. And it just made me want Steve even more. I think something's in the air. I don't know what it is. Like, I think there's like, is it some kind of retrograde, intrograde, something is just like making me very like.
I'm in a pretty good mood today.
Like looking at men and being like, normal. You know what I mean?
What's that called? What do they call that in Bambi? Twitter-pated.
Okay, yeah, exactly. That's
You're Twitter-pated.
I want to say it in a nice way. I don't want to say it in the nasty way.
Okay, well,
I'm a lady. Anyway, guys, if you're just joining us, you might be watching us on YouTube. You might be listening to us on a podcast place. If you are in any of those places, hit subscribe, even if you hate us. Please leave us a 5-star review. If you're contemplating leaving anything but a 5-star, we implore you, reach out, send us a message. I'd rather you leave us a comment on here than leave us a 5-star, less than 5-star review, because it makes us look bad, all right? And I'm touchy. Amanda's used to it. Amanda's used to her low 4s. She likes being in the low 4s.
I like living in the low 4s. I put up our email address here. It's patcpod@gmail.com. Yes. And then I realized it says email us your sex stories, and we totally forgot to look for a sex story in our email. So anyway, send them in, guys.
Well, no one's emailed us any, and I did put out the call last week that if you had already emailed us and we didn't read it, please resend it, because like we're forgetful and we gotta like. You'd think we have like a ton going on. I mean, we do.
Yeah, so, we do.
Can you just resend it if you sent us them before? I feel like this part of me looks so white.
I feel like you should have a gold chain on.
I was
because you look kind of Florida, like Hialeah, Florida.
Oh, see, I was feeling
because you're wearing like a black tank, and I guess you call it a wife beater, but right? Is that a beater?
Yeah, like a. I don't know what I.
And then you kind of have like a Cuban kind of shirt on. Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, I was feeling like I'd maybe be in Queens or something like that too.
Fine, that too.
That's a spicy meatball. Anyway, okay. I'm just kidding, guys. We're getting into the swing of things here. So, again, if you're just joining us. Never heard us before, check out all of our other episodes. Usually at the beginning we do a little chit chat and then we get into it. Also, if you like the sound of our voices and think we're like worthy of getting $6 from you, go ahead and head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/podinthecity, and join there for $6. It's like a little club. You get extra episodes. This week, guys, we are doing, I think this may be one of my favorite Golden Girls episodes ever. It's called The Break-In. Rose turns
It
into
is
like a nut
crazy.
job because someone broke into their house, and she then thinks everywhere she's going, she's being stalked, like someone's coming to murder her everywhere.
It goes there.
It really does. And when you think it's gonna not be, then there's another scene like
Yeah.
where like she full on shoots,
At
almost shoots
almost
Blanche.
kills Blanche. And Blanche is like,
there's
"Oh, honey, what are you doing with a gun? You almost
face,
died."
not my face, my ball. Anyway,
Anyway,
you
check
guys
that out.
check that out. So let's hear some news and yeah.
All right. Well, couple things. We got
Seems
well,
like
first
they're still filming.
they're
right?
filming, and Kim Cattrall finally did say that she was not going to be back. Somebody
This was my
Yeah, but I don't
low point
I
of the
wasn't
week.
expecting it.
I wasn't either at all. I wasn't one bit expecting it. But like, imagine if she just did. What if this was like a MacGuffin or whatever, and like she was putting out this statement saying she wasn't going to be back, and then the season comes and she's there.
But it
and it's,
wasn't
like,
even
the
a statement.
rating.
It was like somebody posted, "Oh, Kim Cattrall's going to return, we think," and then she just it was like on Twitter, and she like commented under it, "Oh, that's sweet, but I'm not."
Go off, sis. Go
Yeah.
off, sis. If I was Kim Cattrall and had all the whatever she has, I probably wouldn't do it either. Because anyway, I think that all of the cast of Sex in the City and just like that are wonderful people. And if they would like us to be a part of anything, please reach out to us at our email address as well.
Like what?
I'm just trying to not look like we shit talk them the whole time. I think SJP is probably really wonderful to work with. I don't think she was ever mean to Kim Cattrall ever. SJP, if you're listening.
I'm still here. I'm just
Amanda
blowing I'm just blowing my nose. So here, let me put up this thing. I'm gonna blow my
She's
nose.
gonna blow her nose. All right. So as we know, the Queen, Kristen Davis, she has become the and just like that queen for me. She's definitely like my favorite on there. She is showing off like all this stuff from filming,
like wardrobe and props. This is just, I
like,
think, this is just hers.
This
like
is
her, Charlotte.
A montage of blue shaded purses and bags that I'm gonna assume this table cost close to $1 million.
Probably.
Bags here. I mean, like, purses are so insanely priced for some of this stuff that if someone told me this was $1 million worth of purses, I'd probably be like, oh yeah.
Yeah, but sense. I mean, it's fat.
They're all gorgeous. Okay, so if you were gonna choose one here on this table,
the like, one straight in the middle, that checkered one. Like I'm obsessed.
Like it's a Chanel like houndstooth looking.
Houndstooth,
like,
there's the word. Yeah.
Makeup case looking thing almost. It kind of has like a lid on it. I love it.
Let's look at the shoes.
Now, love this. Again, this is probably $50 million worth of shoes. And I love, okay, so these are all really pretty. I really think those, like, there's a pair of purple, like, lilac loafer looking things on the second shelf from the top that give me Clueless vibes.
Totally. Yeah, I was going to say they're very 90s. Those look like the only ones that I could fit both my feet into and, like, maybe walk a few steps.
I bet you, though, that those are actually heels, and we
probably, but they're wide.
They're like 6-inch heels. All of these are gorgeous. Like, God.
Yeah.
Now, I have no desire to be a woman. I don't. You know, I've thought about it with the way that. Not I've thought about it. That sounds weird. What am I trying to get at here? You know, with like the idea
you pondered
like,
while you were
when I was
one
younger, people being transgender wasn't as like out there. Like it wasn't as culturally or I don't. You guys know what I'm saying. So I have thought like in the recent years of being like, well, would I have wanted to do that? And I'm like, I don't think so, but what I'm trying to get at
Yeah. Land the plane.
land it here is that the thing that I do love, like would want, is all of
the
these
shoes.
things.
You like the
Like,
shoes. Okay, I can feel you getting there.
The bags, the outfits and all that. And now
Yeah.
I could achieve that through like being a drag queen or something, but that's a lot of work.
It's so uncomfortable.
Like,
The shoes especially is very
too
uncomfortable.
lazy to be a full-on drag queen. That would just like ugh. The shoes.
I
think I could do all the outfits. It would just be the getting ready, putting my dick like where it needs to go.
Well, you don't necessarily have to tuck depending on what you're wearing.
You definitely need to wear like a corset, padding, like titties. I would need that because my body is not giving woman trust. I would need like.
Yeah, you're not very curvy.
No, I'm just like. I look like
we have similar bodies actually because I go straight down. I have like no curves in my body except for my fat ass.
My curves are like my love handles. I have those.
Yeah, sure,
have, like,
all that.
I have like fat curves, but I don't have like hips the way that like.
No, I do.
I don't have birthen hips or what the hell? I don't even know.
Big birthen hips.
All right.
Well, anyway, that's it for that. But here's the big. They're
Medium
filming.
News.
There was filming, and SJP and Carrie and Aiden back together.
Okay, I don't know.
So we're continuing this
and they're
fucking
at this funeral. Why are his pants so
This
short?
might not be a funeral, though, Joan. I almost called you George, which is my cat's name.
This is definitely a funeral. Why are they?
Maybe not. Maybe it's like a black party.
Okay,
Careful.
who's in the back? Who's in the background there? Because
No
I'm wonder who these people are because I'm making assumptions here. Based on what I'm seeing, I think this is LTW's mother's funeral.
Mother-in-law.
Oh, is it her mother-in-law who we see?
Because isn't her mom Jennifer Lewis? Maybe it's George Washington's mother.
Hasn't been on it yet, right?
No.
She's.
I don't think they'd kill her. Maybe it's
Yeah.
Right.
That's
okay.
what I mean. Just because, like, and might be a terrible assumption, there are stunningly beautiful black women in the background.
Right.
So, like,
and they look like they're probably main character
I'm just
energy.
putting ideas together that they're at this funeral, and we saw last week LTW had Lisa Todd Wexley, one of the worst names in television history. That LTW was wearing like a very fierce black suit.
Yeah.
Situation
and Naya's been written off the show, so I mean maybe. But here's another shot.
Maybe it's Naya's funeral.
I would love that if they took that big of a swing, or if it's Che Diaz. I want Che Diaz to come back.
Diaz, there'd be a lot more he, she, they, thems all over the place. Like it would.
They'd be shoving it in your face.
There'd be like rainbow flags. They would have like every single. Now I'm only saying that, guys. Fair warning. If this is your first time listening or anything, I'm giving a warning here. I am a part of that LGBTQ mafia, that alphabet mafia.
Yeah, I think
so. I'm just saying that the last time, in and just like that. If you guys have watched, if you haven't, I implore you, try it, maybe, and then listen
to our recaps. Yeah, we pretty much play the whole episode in them. Not doing that again.
Every time that Che Diaz would have like a comedy concert or like she performs at a Pride thing, they would have like the most cliche audience that they could possibly assemble of every single thing. So and when I say thing, I mean that in the nicest way.
They would do snaps.
They would be doing this. Like, so I would see that if it was Che Diaz's funeral, it would be like way more extreme.
For sure.
I'm like, okay, this is terrible. First assumption is that it would be LTW's mother-in-law.
Yeah,
but
George Washington's
big dreams, and not in the bad way, but like this is like this would make the show good. Make it Naya. Maybe she gets pregnant in the time between, and then she dies in childbirth or something.
That would be epic.
Is that way too? That's horrible.
It would
Maybe
be
that sounds
something
horrible.
happening.
This show is so boring. Like, and just like that, while Big
Season 2 is
dies-
not boring. It's good. I promise you're
Oh,
going to like season 2.
okay. I can't wait.
It
Now,
like
should
gets
we
a little
cut
better.
that? Did that sound terrible to say that I
No,
want
you're
someone
fine. I
to
think that
die
you
during
overthink
childbirth?
things way too much.
You think?
You should have
Amanda.
heard. You should have heard the episode me and Jody just did. Jody said something so shocking. Even I was like, it's on Patreon though. All right.
I
So
think
it's
I
safe.
got that RSS feed, baby.
Yeah. Oh,
You
okay.
can
Well,
check her out.
I'll tell you what it is when we
called?
stop. What?
What's the
Love to hate
episode?
tea. It's a sister wives. Embarrassing the sister wives is the episode. Anyway, let's get into the episode recap. You're leading this, right?
Shall we? Yes. So this episode's
great.
all about old dogs and new dicks. They say that the women in New York are the most beautiful women in the world, which explains why men in New York spend all their time looking at them. The city is a veritable playground for men's roving eyes. Unfortunately, they need both of them looking straight ahead to survive. This New York woman was pretty happy. I was seeing Big again. And then she says, unfortunately, my New York guy was still seeing other women. Because Carrie's big.
Yeah, she's like,
issue here
I'm
is-
so happy, and it's like, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, until you figure out something to like, you make up something in your head that you're going to be upset about for this
No.
episode.
I thought Big was horrible later in the episode. And then I also thought there was I want to have a discussion later about Big and Carrie's overall relationship because I
Okay.
had a thought about it.
Okay.
You're ready? You're ready for that?
I can't wait.
Ready for that deep dive?
Yeah.
All right. So basically Big is ending up checking out other women. Yay. Samantha and Carrie are in the park. All right. And they're discussing how Big has been checking out other women. And Samantha's like, once you try to change a man, it's doomed. They won't budge. And so they're discussing this whole idea about like changing a person. Thoughts?
Right.
What do you think about changing a person? Because that's really that's Carrie's storyline here. And I guess that's the overarching.
I do think that in
episode.
general, women do are expected to change more than men are.
Okay,
There's no
I agree on
like
that.
meeting in the middle is always women going like way further.
Women
than men
accepting
have to.
what men do want.
Yeah,
and
women
say
having
all
to
the time.
settle almost.
Which is what happens with Carrie later, I feel. I don't think
I actually
Carrie
don't think you
really-
can really change someone that like you can't change who they are at the core.
I think there's certain like aspects of someone that if you want to be in a relationship like that, you need to kind of have an understanding of like those things.
Yeah.
Like, do you want like if you're a person that doesn't need someone to be around you all the time, and then the other person needs someone to be around you all the time, like that's kind of like a I don't know. I'm trying
Right.
to
Yeah.
come up with
Fundamental,
some kind of-
like core, basic, like values and wants and needs. Like, you can't.
The overall here thing though is like, what is Carrie really wanting to change about Big? Is that she just wants him to have all eyes on her, make it about her, or what are we?
I think there's just a few things that are starting to annoy her about him, and because he hasn't done anything to give her the impression that he doesn't want to be with her, especially in this episode.
He just has kind of a somewhat aloofness that I don't.
But that's
know
why
that
she likes
I would
him.
Like, oh, I don't
'Cause
think
it's
I
like the
get why she
chase.
likes him then, kind of, because there's a weird dynamic between them where, like, he's like her dad.
This is something that doesn't get discussed enough out there. Is that like there's a lot of times where I'll see a woman with a guy and like they're putting up with a lot more than maybe if I brought up the topic. Would you still be with this guy if he wasn't filthy fucking rich? You know?
Well, yeah.
Like I feel like that's never addressed here. That like Carrie, if Big wasn't that rich, I don't think that it would have gone past a couple dates. Even if she doesn't want to admit it to herself.
I think if he was broke, she wouldn't be with him. I don't think we ever see her be with anyone
Right.
who is broke.
Yeah, yeah. I think just she likes the optics of this, and she feels like there's almost a sense of entitlement I get about that.
There is, though, also the feeling of like, because he doesn't seem sometimes like he really wants her, like you then would want them even more. I get
Yeah, of
that
course.
too. But then, okay, so, all right, so, well, Samantha and I discussed the theory of change. Miranda was going through it for real. She had a new apartment, a new boyfriend, and a new dating schedule that was killing her. Basically, Miranda has to wait till like 2 a.m. for Steve to come home, which there's no way he'd get home at 2 a.m. It'd be more like 4 a.m.
It depends on what on if he has to like get on a subway or something. The subway runs like every hour at that time of night. I know because I used to work in Times Square, but and it sucks. This would be just such a not. Also, New York bars are open till 4 a.m. in the most.
That's what I'm saying. It would be at least 4 a.m.
Sure, but okay,
later.
This would be like a non-starter for me. Like this wouldn't. I would never date this person for this reason. I love sleep. I value my sleep and rest way too much.
Well, I also think besides even that, you're not really getting. I don't like. You know what? Something I did notice is listening back to us. Is that I really like to mix up words, and I sound like a complete moron sometimes.
Stop listening to your
Amanda!
You're overthinking it.
I have to.
I think you're fine.
So,
what were you saying?
What was I saying? Oh, besides the sleeping part, even he's working like in the time when she would actually not be working. So like they can't even see each other really at all.
Ever. Yeah, this would be actually technically this would be the ideal relationship for me. I always think I feel like I could date like a long haul trucker. That's an ideal relationship for. I'm being so serious. That would be so ideal. If I see the guy twice a month, that would be like I could easily make that work.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and then one of those times I'd pretend to be on my period. So I only have to have sex once a month.
What a mess.
She's single, boys. Come at me.
Who wants? Anyone want to get it once a month? Baby, and excuses the rest of the time. All right. So she had her brand new apartment. You know, she's all Miranda's basically waiting for Steve's date. And so then he gets home. They stay there. And the problem really is that every morning at 7 a.m., she has to get up for work, but his dick is hard and ready to shoot in her.
Yeah, they always are. God.
But he's not.
You men in your fucking morning would.
But he's not ready when he gets home. But they don't have sex when he gets home from work, really, do they?
Well, he was kind of into it, but then she fell asleep. Still in her. I'm like, okay, so this is what you're greeting him at 2 a.m. And she's like still wearing like little earrings from work and like a button up and pencil skirt with tights.
Yeah, that makes absolutely.
Like, I am in sweatpants.
I would be like in some slutty looking
well,
thing.
You could do that too, but also sweatpants can be. I feel like women wearing oversized sweatpants in a certain as long as you don't look dirty, that's like hot because they're so tiny and they're sweatpants.
Hey guys, if you're into Amanda, she likes oversized sweat.
I think everyone knows that Amanda prefers oversized sweatpants as my only attire.
Anyway, we find out that Charlotte's dating a restaurant critic.
Wait, we didn't. Okay, so Steve likes morning sex, and Miranda's like, I don't want to do this. Fuck. Okay, yeah. Can we talk about this? This I don't. Are you like super into this? Every guy I dated is like, fucking morning. What? It's like, you're like always ready to go in the morning.
I could, but I would like more like a situation where like we get up and then have like do it in the shower.
Oh yeah.
In the morning, I don't like the way I smell, and I don't like the way the other person smells.
Gross.
Personally, and I don't even. I'm not saying I smell bad. I just feel like you're just there, and it's like your breath isn't good. Like, get me in the shower. Right. Let's like get all squeaky.
Well, there's a type of morning sex that if I'm into it, it's a good. I feel like a lot of couples do this. It's like lazy sex where you're just like, you're both facing the same direction, and then you just like stick it in from behind. right?
Ew.
What's ew about that?
I have never once had sex where where that's what you just do. I've never had that. But I don't think I ever would want to. Like, I need some foreplay leading up to that.
Oh, I'm like so fine.
That
just,
is something
like,
that's wild to me about straight people is that a lot of the time, my assumption from what I've heard and whatever, a lot of the time you just like fuck and like that's it.
Yeah, I think it's also true of people who've been in like long-term relationships. Like you don't.
I just
the magic.
To the 4 gays listening to this, like, can you let me know, like, do you, even if you guys are in long-term relationships, don't you still want to suck each other's dicks and stuff? Or
but like, I'm not saying that that's my preferred method every time.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying. Hey guys,
some pretty wild
Amanda likes oversized sweatpants, and her preferred method is both facing in the same direction. Her laying on her side, just shove it in.
Katie was talking about that with Schwartz in the episode that I just watched the season of their wedding, and Schwartz is a monster, and she says that she refers to it as fat sex. I like that too. She's like, where you just like do it from behind, and we don't move.
Wait until next season when Schwartz is saying how much he likes Katie now because she's just like letting him be a piece of shit and just not like trying to be mean to
him. I think he cheats on her again after the wedding. I can't wait to get to that.
By the way, I cheats on her like multiple times.
I found a new series to binge after Vanderpump. But I've been searching for one to really settle into, and it was me and Jody's TRP for this week, and it's Big Love.
Oh God!
I am like so ready to just binge the shit out of Big Love. I've only watched it once, Joan.
Definitely was hoping for something like, Real Housewives.
Real Housewives.
I don't know.
No, I'm going to Big Love.
Like Big Love?
At least we're going back to Grey's Anatomy.
Big Love.
Well, I went from Grey's to Vanderpump. So let's get back to a scripted series.
Yeah, and I was really happy when you were out of that Grey's. When you finally got out of the Grey's.
Jody was too. It's coming back in a month though. No, so the Grey's recaps are coming back. Okay, so
Yippee.
Charlotte's guy is uncut.
Yeah, that's what we find out. I lost my place because we're just.
Well, just Charlotte finds out that her guy is uncircumcised, and this is when I watched this in my 20s. And they were trying to kind of describe what it looked like. I could not picture him because I hadn't seen one in my 20s. Until that guy that we both know that did get circumcised.
It wasn't too far into your 20s. Was it?
Okay, but when I was... Let me rephrase that. The first time I watched this episode, I had not seen it uncut. And also that one that we're talking about, I don't think I never saw it in like light. I never touched it. Definitely didn't put my face anywhere.
I was really hoping you might get into a little deep dive about your experience, because Amanda has a similar experience to Charlotte, where a guy got circumcised. Now, I'm not.
That wasn't for me.
Okay, Amanda, I'm not gonna say they got it for you, but weren't you dating them when they got it, or
no? That's one person that I will say. I always look back and I'm like, that really could have worked out. But I just think in the long term, he was not too good of a person, but he was almost too like straight shooter. Like he was too like kind of just good, wholesome for me to be with.
Yeah, I just think you need a little more spice.
I think that's what he was so nice and hilarious, but like also then I got back together with Brad, and I definitely needed to ride that out. I needed to get that.
But
out
Amanda was like dating,
but then
this guy,
he started dating my friend.
He got a fucking circumcision.
Yeah,
adult circumcision
for this friend of ours.
I feel like it was closer in time to when you were dating him.
No, because that person made him do it. I would never have asked him to do that.
I didn't think you asked him. I just think it was a similar situation here where Charlotte... So what ends up happening really with Charlotte is like that she like shows him that she's not into it by like, as soon as he's freaked out, she's like, oh. Which I think they need to show
uncircumcised dicks more in like Well, I guess porn you're probably seeing a lot more, but back in the day, I couldn't even picture what it would look like.
I was just gonna say that back in the day, this was a more common storyline. Nowadays, I feel like there's a lot more like uncut pride or something.
The first person I really saw talk about it a lot because I was in a long-term. Well, Bacon Fingers is uncut. I don't give a fuck if you're listening. Great.
Please, no, don't taunt. He's gonna cancel. He's gonna get our Patreon canceled.
Well, he's probably dead by now from fucking diabetes or something. Anyway.
Okay, great.
So anyway, I don't give a fuck. Anyway, he was uncircumcised, and I
eating raw bacon.
Yeah, he got like the Ebola virus.
A good idea.
He was uncircumcised, and I was like really having to come to terms with this. And then I saw this thing that Courtney Act put out where she's talking about like, she's like the biggest regret of my life was getting circumcised because she's like the guys that I sleep with that are uncircumcised, there's so much more sensation, like it's more fun, like it's more like eclectic. And I actually would agree that there is a different sensation. There's a little bit more of a friction in there that I like.
Well,
not with
made.
Him,
I think that like penises, right, are uncircumcised, or like the way they naturally are made so
right.
that when they go into something, that it's like a natural lubricant almost, like not a liquid lubricant, but like the physical motion of like that you could get it in there and then move your dick back and forth, and it kind of would. Like have something loose?
They talk about it, and she says that 85% of men are uncircumcised, which is crazy. That shook me too. But I guess you have to think about the fact that like, but it's like also like everyone like on different continents, where that's just not a thing. But no, on that note,
would be worldwide. But I wonder what it would be in the United States.
I would be interested in that too.
85% in the United States.
Do you want to look it up? Can you look it up, actually? Because I can't type with these nails.
Oh, great. Oh, God. Now I'm going to... Okay. Scared. I'm going to lose. All right. Circumcised men in U.S.
In U.S. Percentage.
Okay. Here we go. All right. There has been a rise in circumcisions in men to 81% during the past decade.
That's how many
in the
are
United
circumcised.
States, 81%
are circumcised.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds more normal. Okay, so
rates in the United States. But of course, it goes also along. It's like this. You could read a whole article here. It's about, whether certain cultures are more used, like cultures living in the United States. The percentages are different, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Interesting. You know what I mean? Okay, well, since the ratio is such kind of a low statistic, so like, how have you been like? You don't have to give a number, but like, what percentage, I guess, of the amount the people that you've been with are? Well, I
choose. So
what do you mean you choose?
Like I would choose the people I have sex with. Like I'm not often like surprised that someone has a circumcised or uncircumcised dick. Like I'm not like going out there just like not knowing that usually.
Yeah, I was going to ask that too. Like, is that something that you would initially put forward? You would like say that? Almost
any, like, if you're going on like any gay thing, it's like one of the things that
I feel like that's considerate. I honestly don't think that a lot of straight men even think to tell people.
I think that they don't tell people if they are, and if they aren't, they try and hide it because they know that girls, or like a lot of girls, are freaked out by it. I'm not dogging them out at all. I'm just saying that I have had multiple experiences with friends who literally have been like, "Oh my God."
So have you been with any?
Yeah.
Okay, and do you like it? Or can you tell a difference? Fine. Yeah. Yeah.
I personally think that they look nicer when they're circumcised, but
yeah,
there's some that look nice when they're uncircumcised. It just depends. I don't know.
Yeah. But I'm glad that the stigma is kind of going away a little bit, because when this episode aired, this was definitely a big controversy.
There doesn't need to be one for sure, because It's just,
We need to talk about it.
and really, I would say there are. I was for like many years was under the assumption that like almost everyone I knew would be circumcised. And then now as time goes on, like I have multiple friends that I've heard, these are straight men friends. Surprisingly, I have straight men friends. And like quite a few of them are uncircumcised. So I don't know how that comes up in conversation, but it does.
I wonder if that person that we knew like regrets doing that, because I feel like he might have done it for the wrong reasons, because I don't think it was appreciated.
I doubt he regrets it, because I think most people, especially at that time, had a preference for circumcised
Okay, good,
penises. Yeah. And I would also think that guy maybe had like other things going against him, where like he doesn't need another. I mean that in the nicest way. I'm not saying that in a mean way. Please, I hope someone understands what I mean. Like, it's not like, okay, all I'm going to say is this guy was not Zac Efron with an uncircumcised penis.
I get what you feel like.
Get at.
I totally get what you mean. Yeah.
And I thought that was a nice way to say it, but maybe.
Yeah. No, I completely 100%. I'm with you.
Like, if he had the circumcised penis, it probably would help. Because
yeah, for sure.
One extra thing that you're like, oh God, I don't like. Oh, what?
I will say, if he's listening to this and you already don't hate me enough for even bringing this up, it was a very, very nice penis. It was big. Yeah.
You like big penises.
Yeah, weird. I'm one of those rare ones.
Amanda's one of those rare breeds who likes a nice big dick. I mean, you gotta have something to play around with. And
yeah, you gotta feel it. Okay, well, anyway, so they're at lunch.
This conversation, yeah. It's like the only uncut version of anything Charlotte had ever seen was the original Gone with the Wind. 85% of men aren't circumcised, and Samantha thinks they're like Tootsie Pops. She likes to peel them back and get to the center. Then they have this conversation where it's like, I am so circumcising my kids. And then Carrie says, I think you can pay people to do that now. Carrie's usually the one who has like these funny, quippy jokes. And it's weird that she isn't more like that with her men. She's like, she plays this like baby girl situation with the men. But then when she's with her friends, she's like funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's because Carrie's a pick-me girl. So
she's like, I don't ever want to know there's a woman out there calling my son a Shar-Pei. All I'm saying is uncut men are the best. They try harder. I should know. I've slept with 5 of them. Out of how many? Infinity.
That's always been a funny line to me. Infinity.
This whole back and forth is funny.
Yeah, very good.
This episode is pretty funny.
Because she says that, 85% of men are uncircumcised. And then Miranda, I totally would have this thought too. She's like, hey, that means that at max, I've only had sex, because she's never been with uncircumcised. She's like, at max, I've only had sex.
Like, I've only had sex with 15% of all the men.
Max! Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, based on the way the show works, these women have probably had sex with like 1,000 men. Except Carrie. She's the one who dates like a little less. She's in long term. Anyway, Carrie and Big go out to dinner, and he checks out some hoe. And this scene drove me up.
Yeah,
the wall.
I hated this. I would dump him so quickly if he treated the wait staff like this.
So what happens is they're at their dinner and whatever, and he's like, he lights up a cigar, and he's like, oh, and then the server, who's this woman who he's like trying to flirt with too. I guess the idea here is
she clearly wants to fuck him too. Well, and then, which is actually his reputation, because remember, I had all those friends that worked at Joe Allen, and they all said without even thinking that he was the worst customer.
Well, so, he's like, oh, okay. She's like, I'm sorry, you can't smoke that in here. Doy, lighting up a fucking huge ass cigar in a restaurant.
That's not true though, Jonah. I had the exact same thought, and I was like, well, it's fucking illegal. It wasn't illegal in New York until 2003.
Okay, but to me, there's a difference between smoking a cigarette, I guess. Well, they're both gross.
I'd rather someone smoke a cigar while I'm eating than a cigarette.
I would agree, but like a cigar is a lot to Like a cigarette,
it's brazen.
Done. And a cigar is like, I'm sitting here for 2 hours, whatever, token on this thing. I can't smoke cigars.
I feel like cigar guys are such a specific type of man that like I can't. Raju was a cigar guy. I'm like, oh, you are.
I think
okay.
I think it's like one of those cute little things that like boys get their. It's like the grown-up boys' toys. Like they had cars when they were kids, and now they need something to like. It's their little hobby.
Cigars and golf. How white are we that it's our reference?
To be honest, I'd rather my man play golf than be going to cigar lounges. Like, personally.
Yeah.
He could find me lots of clients on the golf course.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, John, you should take up golfing for that reason.
I know how to play
and
golf.
You could be all cute. I do too, Joan. My dad is like a fucking like pro. You what?
Really? I took golf lessons when I was a kid.
I did too, and tennis.
And my dad was like a pro too. I took tennis. Amanda, we have so much in common.
I know. I can't play tennis anymore because of my wrist.
Girl, tennis is way too
and my ankle
for me.
But you could look so cute on the golf course.
I really could. I like golfing though. To me,
but you don't really need. You can just prance around.
Friends who did it, I would. If I had a group of friends who were really into it, I would do it. But
not into it where they actually care about the game. More like
no.
Like brunch. It's basically brunch.
Like we go have drinks on the course.
Yeah.
You know, we hit the vape. Take an
Obviously.
edible before
you kind of
swing.
Like,
just like
bat the ball
have
around
a nice time.
Huh.
Go have lunch in the clubhouse after. I will say that's
all I'm thinking about the whole game.
Part of my privilege here. I am a country club baby. I was raised in country clubs.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
But that was mostly because my family was big golfers. Like we always had country club memberships because my dad played golf, my grandpa played golf, my mom played golf, my grandma played golf, like every single family member. So we went to
how about this? Clubs. How about this? My house shares the fence with the golf club in Douglasdale, and we lived on the 18th green.
Ooh.
We would get golf balls through our window like 3 times a year.
I can only imagine.
So we're both bougie as fuck, but still kind of ratchet.
The sad thing is that now, like, we're not, because I'm now like I'm not a member at a country club.
Fuck no.
I wish I had the money to be a member at a country club. I don't even have close to the money to be a member at a country club. Because we both
piss our money away.
Amanda, I have to live. Honestly, I don't think we piss our money away that much because think of all the money that people spend on their children. That is truly pissing money away. Like I would think I spend a quarter of what my friends spend.
I know,
pissing it away, but that's me living.
If your kid has an ear infection, that's like $450.
I want to live. Let me live. Isn't that a song?
No.
This is my life, and I don't give a damn for lost tomorrows.
Okay, that sounded like you were going toward I Am What I Am.
It's
but
Shirley
then also
Bassey, and it's called My Life.
What's that song that I think what's RuPaul's best Lady Bunny I think sings it in that drag documentary, and it's called fuck. It's from the movie Applause. But alive.
She doesn't sing it. I think Lip Synca does it.
Ah, okay. That's a great song, though.
Guys, if you don't know who Lip Synca is, look on YouTube Lip Synca. She does the amazing lip sync work to like old school music with like clips cut in and stuff. Yes, I love that. All right.
And this is relevant to this episode, Joan, because we have drag queens coming up.
We do. Anyway,
2 famous ones.
This scene drove me crazy because Big tries to smoke the cigar. The lady's like, you can't smoke in here. And he's like, she's like, because of the other patrons. He's like, you mean the 5 other people in here? She's like, yes. He's like, well, why don't I see if they're okay with it? Then is it okay? And then he goes to each table.
That's a
Excuse
douchebag
me,
move too.
ladies.
You're putting the other
Is it
tables in a horrible
okay?
position because if you say no, then you're an asshole. If you're like, no, I prefer to eat my $80 plate without you smoking a cigar right there, then you're an
I
asshole.
think that if it were me and I were Carrie, that cigar never would have been lit in the first place. The second he tries to take it out to fucking smoke it, I'd be like, don't do that in here. That's fucking disgusting. Like, have
Yeah.
you lost your mind?
And then if he
And then
continued to
he'd
pull this
break
shit,
up with
I
me.
would get up and storm out. Yeah, maybe.
I was gonna say if he was asking those people at tables, I would have just walked out because I would have been so
100%.
mortified that everyone then is looking at me because I'm the dumbass with the douchebag who's walking around.
Yep.
And now the people seemed charmed by him, but if I were the people at the restaurant and a man walked up to me and was like, "Do you mind if I smoke this cigar?" I'd say, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah.
It's
Well, at least now it's
disgusting.
illegal.
Even then, though, I don't know how everyone was just so charmed by Big.
I feel like in Florida you can still smoke indoors. Because when I went to
I
do
think
9
there's
to
certain
5,
places you can.
like everyone was just smoking indoors. I was like, that's wild. It's pretty cool. That's when I
Ew.
kind of was smoking too.
It's pretty cool.
It was cool because that was like one of the few months. Like I've smoked maybe 4 months of my whole life just in month chunks, and that was one of the months that I happened to be smoking cigarettes. Yeah.
I smoked one time for like 4 days. That was it. So then Carrie's like, he's like, what? There's no problem. Is it okay? I asked everyone. She's like, they won't tell you the truth. She's like, no one's gonna say to your face that they hate your cigar. And he's like, good. And she's like, you're very arrogant. And he's like, I thought that's what you liked about me. Then she says, maybe Big was right. Maybe we were at that inevitable point in the relationship when the little things you loved about the person become huge liabilities. New York City is all about change. New Yorkers change their haircuts, their politics, even their friends in the blink of an eye. If change was so scary, why was it so hard for Big? Was I banging my head against the wall thinking he'd stop and notice me? Did I have to change my expectations, or was it possible? Can you change a man? God, I didn't realize that was so
yeah, you
many
took down a
lines
lot
there.
of that, but
I
the
just
street
copied and
interviews.
pasted it from the transcripts.
Okay.
Website, so.
Oh, I forgot that you did
Then
that.
they do the
yeah.
screen interviews. I just didn't really care about them. I didn't even
Yeah, it
really
doesn't
pay
matter.
attention.
They're
Charlotte
winning
doesn't
anyway.
want this guy, and because of it, he decides he's going to get a circumcision.
An adult circumcision. Yeah.
The next day, Miranda wakes up and she lets Steve cuddle her for an hour. Tops.
Well, she's like, I need to get up, and he's like, no, lay down and cuddle. Now this I love. I love like laying in bed and being a piece of shit. Love it.
I would love this too, but not if I have to go to work.
If you have to go to work, definitely not. But if
I'd
it's a
be, like,
Saturday,
stressed. Oh yeah.
Also, she's like, I have spinning. I'm like, I'd be constantly looking for an excuse to not work out.
Wait. Okay, I missed that. She refuses to go spinning, so she can.
She's
go
like,
spinning?
I have to go. She says, she's like, this is my free day. I go spinning, and then I pick up my laundry, and then I get my nails done, which I don't think tracks from Miranda's character. No. Steve wants to cuddle with her.
He wants to cuddle with her earlier, and this is the time when she's like, I have to go to work. Okay, I'll do it for an hour tops. And then it cuts away to the drag queen bingo. The one you're thinking about is later. When it is Saturday. He wants to cuddle, and she's like, oh, this is my day to do my stuff. And then she's like, oh, okay, I'll cuddle. And then they're like, she stayed with him for 12 hours.
Oh.
That's way later, unfortunately.
Okay, but now my next note is that we're at bingo.
Yeah, because it goes to drag queen bingo.
Gotcha. Okay. I don't know what happened there.
There's
I don't know if you're right,
of
but
Miranda cuddling. There's 2.
All right.
So, okay, I was kind of like just caught up in what was happening in this drag queen bingo. First of all, Jackie Beat is the drag queen calling the numbers. I could tell by her voice. And then So what happens is they're talking about all the things that have been happening in an episode, and this drag queen walks up that looks mysteriously similar to Samantha.
I mean,
And we
not
find out
really,
that
but
this
all right.
is, well, doesn't really look like her, but like it's giving enough, I guess.
Sure.
Assume the person who playing this, I think, is the drag queen Hedda Lettuce.
It is. Yeah, I looked it up.
Oh, okay. So we find
Jackie
out he like
Beat. Now, who am I thinking of? Because there was a queen, very teeny queen, and her name was Jackie, I think, too. I thought her name was Jackie Beat, but she was on like season like 12 or 13. And she was tiny. That's who it was, Jackie Cox. Okay.
She was on the season with Jada Essence Hall.
Oh, and that guy we know.
Oh, yeah, and the canceled queen.
And the Sherry Pie, yeah, okay. That's not the one that we know.
They just did like a benefit production of Rent here, and that guy we know played Angel in it.
Oh, was he good?
I didn't see it.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying they did it.
It happened. Okay, gotcha.
Like, my thing is, like, I don't usually go to things if I don't like to really pay for things like that to go be shoved in like a room on a one night only situation. I don't. That's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, no,
like
I
a lot
that.
of things, and I know that there's gonna. I also knew that I would run into some people at that I just.
Oh, then I wouldn't go either. Yeah,
don't want to see because it was like a theater benefit with, people in it. Anyway,
yeah, you're seeing a whole bunch of people from your past. Hell no.
We find out that like Brad fucked Samantha, I guess, at one point.
Well, they dated a little, yeah.
Based on that, he like now has, like assumed his entire persona around her. He even goes by Samantha.
Right, I don't really know what this has to do with the story, but I guess just to be like
Men
cheeky,
can change.
like yeah. And Samantha's like really upset about this. And she's like, "How are the kids?" And he's like, "Great." Jacqueline's in 8th grade.
There used to be, and I still think there is a thing where, which is stupid, but some people get this idea in their head that like they were the reason that someone decided they weren't going to be straight anymore or something. Like that your dick was like her vagina was so repulsive to him that now he needs to be like a drag queen, I guess. But I would almost I think if I were her, I'd be taking this as a compliment. I'd be like, you think I'm so fucking fierce that you want to make that your whole thing? I'd be like, fucking cool. Just don't skin me, baby. Then Carrie's supposed to meet at Big's after the drag. There was more stuff at the drag queen bingo, but like, I was just enamored by what was happening.
It was cool to see like two famous drag queens. Yeah.
Yeah. So Carrie's supposed to meet Big at his place after bingo, and they meet in the lobby, and we find out basically he's a half an hour late, and this pissed me off too. Like, okay, he's a half an hour late. She's like, you're late or whatever. And she's like, I've been waiting here for you. And he's, maybe if you gave me a key, I could wait in your place. He's like, there's a coffee shop around the corner that you could wait at. That would have truly sent me into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
Of like, maybe I'm too like bitchy, but I would want to smack the shit out of him for just even
being late like is that. I think I hate people. We've definitely talked about this. There are people that just and they think it's cute. Like that's just me. Like, no, you're an asshole. You have zero respect for anyone else's time.
And in this case, he knows that she's sitting in the lobby of his building.
Yeah.
And as a person who has sat in a lobby of a building waiting for someone, you feel like not.
And you're getting more and more mad as the minutes go by. So he's
stupid.
Not cute.
And the fact that he wasn't like, oh, see, I still don't like when people are late, but I really hate when people are late and make absolutely no acknowledgement of them.
Because whenever I am rarely late, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Or I've sent 100 texts before. I'm like sending my location.
Like, I've been in situations where people are 45 minutes late and they walk in like, hey, what's up?
With a new coffee in their hand.
No, not even like, oh my gosh, I'm so late. I was at whatever. Like, not necessarily I want to hear any excuses, but like, you could at least acknowledge. And his bullshit of being like, You could just wait around the corner at the coffee shop. I, again, would have been sent to the stratosphere. All right. Then that night, they go into his apartment. They end up not fucking. Oh my God.
Sounds great to me.
And then, and then they're in bed, and basically, like, he's like rolling over a bunch, which I probably would do this too, and knocks her out of the bed. She falls on the ground. She's like, ah! And he's like, Carrie. And then she like punches him in the face.
Hard. This looks very real. The way they play
really
this
does.
and film it is very funny.
I definitely think punching him in the face was an overreaction.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, no, it is. Well, that would never
like
just
maybe
be
like
in
a
me.
smack on the arm or something.
Yeah, I think my only physical kind of tendency would be like a shove, like an Elaine Bennis shove. That would be the only like physical thing that would happen.
Bed, I'm on the floor. They're on the edge of the bed, being like, "Oh my God, I can't imagine what any of my reaction would be to reach out at them at all."
Oh, I know what I would do.
I'd get up.
Oh no, I would milk that shit for days.
You're like, oh my God.
Oh, no, I'm fine. It's okay. I'm okay. And I mean, it would just, and then I would be like a mild ice out. No, I'm okay. But then it would be like, I would ice them out, but still be really nice. Like, no, I'm great. But like, you know that I'm pissed. So it's just uncomfortable for 3 days and I'm enjoying every second of it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I mean, not much.
That's just how I roll.
With Amanda.
I know, right? You've seen
That's
it.
How you were years ago.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You can't change a person.
That's
why I don't date.
Amanda is. I
am who I am.
Living proof. You can't change. Can't change an old bitch.
It's an old hoe. Is that what you're gonna say?
But then I was trying to put. I was gonna say can't change an old hoe, but I thought bitch was more because
both work.
I'm sure someone out there is like, I can't believe the way that he talks to her. He called her a hoe and a bitch.
This next part though, Big's asleep on the couch, and Carrie's like,
"Oh,
I brought you some ice."
This is where before this and leading to this, I get this. This is where I just started to have a weird ick vibe about their relationship that I don't know that I've ever had. But like, she's on the floor. This is before she gives the ice. She's on the floor.
Yeah.
He gets up, is taking his pillows and stuff, and he's like, and she's like, "Oh, let me just explain." He's like, "Now is not the time to explain." Or whatever the hell he says.
He goes, "Speaking like, now, not good." It just seemed very like he was scolding a child.
It did.
That power
plays
dynamic.
It like she's like playing it like this like little girl, and he's like the mean dad. Like, it's a weird power dynamic that it's making me, while they have chemistry in other episodes, etc. It's making me feel, like maybe he's not the one for her. And I'm hoping that maybe in coming up, she might meet someone else. Yeah, I'm talking as though I've never watched.
Yeah, I know. Well, anyway, she brings him ice.
Up with him and never speaks to him again.
It's coming up in 2 episodes. They break up. They break up in 2 episodes.
Oh, I'm kind of okay with that. She brings him ice on the couch. She's like, and then she goes into this whole diatribe. She's like, "I feel like I'm back in your life, and nothing has really changed. I know you can't change a man, and you definitely can't change a man like you, but I still want something to change a little bit."
Yeah.
For me.
Her nipples are fully out in this whole scene too, by the way. I was fully just like staring at them.
It was making me feel uncomfortable because I was still feeling that weird dad-daughter situation.
Yeah, no, it is. It's like uncomfortable because it's like they don't feel comfortable fighting with each other.
Yeah. Like,
right.
He's not.
It's not an
seems
equal.
Really unlikable when they have situations like this.
Yeah.
I guess I'd say. All right, so Charlotte meets up with. Okay, now Charlotte gets to meet
uncut
up with
gems.
now cut guy. He's cut now.
Cut gems.
But baby, she wants his dick so bad. She's like, oh, I can wait for you. And now, please, as a person who remembers this isn't like getting your dick circumcised isn't like a 2-week recovery period.
He said a week. He said a week tops. And I was like, a week? That is not what that was.
Pretty sure it's like a months-long situation, isn't it?
It was a long recovery.
Getting the top skin of your dick cut off when you're a grown adult.
Because I feel like it would just be like sore, right? And I'd be scared to even like touch it if I was a guy. I'd be scared to like pee.
As we see here, she's like, I want your dick so bad. And he's like, oh. And she popped the stitches, I think, on his
I think so.
Then we cut.
Miranda.
Cut. Miranda's had 5 cups of coffee waiting for Steve. He comes home and he's looking hot and she's looking pretty too in her like silky thing. She's like ready to fuck.
In her full length lingerie dress. It's like floor length.
I like when things leave something to the imagination. Lift it up and see those milky thighs. Anyway.
She's like, I had 5 cups of coffee and I'm ready to fuck.
She's like, you go get in bed and get ready for me. Go get your dick hard so I can jump right on it. She doesn't say that, but. And then she walks in and guess what? Steve fell asleep. And then she's like, you know what? I just want you to go stay at your house. Go stay at your place. And he's like, why? He's like, why, Miranda? She's like,
that was pretty good. You're getting there. Yeah, that was good.
So she can catch up on her sleep. She's like, I had a window for sex. He's like, I'm a bartender, and I get awfully tired of dealing with other people's neuroses.
Yeah, I think he's kind of a dick here too, though.
A window or a whole doorway at a time. Call me. I think this whole situation is annoying. Yeah.
I feel like he's being a dick here because, like, does he not have sympathy for the fact that, like, she is waiting up until 4 o'clock in the morning for when she has to get up at 7?
Exactly. And he's like, you don't want to have sex with me? That's like his. When she says, I don't like, I had a window for sex to do this. He's like, you don't want to have sex with me? You don't like having sex with me? That again sends me to the stratosphere because you're gaslighting me, you little bitch. Quit gaslighting, Steve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he really turns that around on her.
But then we get a little voiceover. Miranda had never felt less like a successful lawyer in her life.
Oh, that's right. She does drop in that conversation that she's a lawyer. She does kind of just happen to mention that, which is
she does kind of play this thing of being like, you know what? I am a lawyer. My time is much more important than your little bartending activities. But also, if I were Steve, I would be nurturing my relationship with the lawyer. And I'd be like, make money, baby.
Right. And also, like, he was a dick about this because she clearly made this big grand gesture here. So, like, he is a dick, like, for falling asleep. He should have been way more apologetic.
He should have walked into the room and started taking his clothes off and there should have been no situation where he
slammed her up against a wall with her hands up here.
Or lays on the bed. Like, fuck
no,
her.
I feel like there needs to be a slamming up against a wall. Like, I need you right now. Right there.
She's like, you go to the room, and he's like, no.
Yes, that's hot.
Yes. He's like, no. I've been waiting all day for this. And Miranda had never felt less like a successful lawyer in her life. Even though she'd won her case, she'd also been left with all the damages. Charlotte now gets to fuck the now cut dick guy, and she tells him after they fuck that she wants to basically date him. She's like, you know, what are we going to do this weekend? We could go to the park. We could go to the museum. We could go listen to opera. I'm like, ew.
All of those sound terrible. Yeah.
Like, couldn't you figure out something a little more fun? I mean, I would go to a museum. I like a museum.
I was just going to say I love museums, yeah. And the zoo.
The opera.
My favorite date is a zoo date.
I have not been to a zoo in years because I'm so sad about zoos. Now, I understand that zoos like help animals live longer, but then it makes me sad that those animals are in the cage. The
Calgary Zoo is fierce. It's
I
huge.
think a lot of them are really nice. They have really nice enclosures, but then I always get this feeling of just being like, this animal should be in the wild.
Yeah, but I think that we're giving animals a little more credit in their minds than they actually like. They don't have any idea. They're fine. They don't know better.
I'm sure they lived a lot. They probably lived longer in a zoo than they would out.
Right.
I don't know. I'm wishy-washy because I think like they should shut down things like if they have dolphins in captivity, stuff like that.
Yes, of course. All that kind of stuff. For sure.
So
but
then,
anyway. I don't know why we got to start talking about that. Charlotte wants to go out to a museum, and he's like, "No, I want to."
He's like, "Actually, I want to take this dog for a walk so I can fuck all the bitches in this neighborhood with my now cut dick."
And you know what? I think Charlotte kind of deserves this because she fucking wouldn't have sex with him without it being circumcised. So fuck you.
In fact, she acted like a total ice bitch when she found that he was circumcised, and then the moment
repulsed by him
circumcised, she's like, "Oh, let's be in a relationship."
Yeah,
if I were him, I'd be like,
"Hope she learned her lesson." Yeah,
I would feel the same way.
He gave her that good D, and now he's taking it away.
Carrie says, "A few days later, I realized you could change a man. You could change him into not calling you." And they have this whole thing.
This is another fucking thing that Big always does, where he, like, if they get in a fight, he just, like, if she doesn't, like, well, I guess he does show up, so never mind. But he will just go days without contacting her.
Mm-hmm. Which would drive me crazy, too.
Oh, yeah,
I probably just would never be with Big, ever.
True. But he does show up with a shiner. She says at one point when she was like, when she brought him the ice, she's like, "You never spend the night at my house." And I was like, "But didn't he?" Because I thought that he came over. I thought he slept over that day she was painting after she farted. But I think that might have just been him coming over for the first time. Because he comes in and he's like, "Oh, nice." So I think this is the first time that he's actually slept there.
They give us this monologue, if you can call it that, from his
I actually think it's cute. I think it's nice.
We're supposed to like feel bad for him. He's like, "Look, maybe you need a key to know that I'm crazy about you. But the thing is, I've given out like 5 keys and you never get them back. And maybe I hog my bed. I'm feeling like Jerry Seinfeld. That's not Jerry Seinfeld."
Yeah, no, that turned into Rodney Dangerfield. Like, I don't get no respect around here.
It did.
Yeah, like, take my wife, please.
That is so funny. Okay. He's like, "But it's my bed. I like you in it." And she's like, "I should hit you more often." And then he reveals that he doesn't like that she eats oranges in bed. Which Carrie's so quirky that she constantly is eating oranges.
That's a crazy thing to eat in bed. Like I'm disgusting, and I will eat in bed, but it's not an orange. That's like so
Those fingers
awful.
Need to be washed immediately from eating an orange. I'm sorry.
I need to be holding a wet cloth while I'm eating an orange.
I love
wet paper towel.
I love using a wet paper towel or a wet cloth.
Yeah.
I feel extra fat when I'm doing it when I'm eating.
Because you have to have the dry one and the wet one.
Clean.
Yeah.
You know what I like to do? I don't really buy paper towels a lot. Like I have paper towels for like emergencies, but I use like reusable paper towels, basically like cloths. I will wet one end of that and then leave the other end dry.
That's a good move. Yeah, it's a good move. Yeah.
This is sad. Like people are like,
I don't know. That made me excited. Also, Carrie's wearing this like pretty iconic Cookie Monster shirt here.
Oh yeah,
little tank top.
Stopped paying attention because I'm getting close to the end here. I hate that you eat oranges in bed. Blah blah blah. Then he stays the night, and the sheets stunk of cigarettes.
She says, "I realize none of us might ever really change, but at least we were talking about it,
and maybe that's good enough." And I'm like, no, it's not. Nothing was accomplished here, except you punched your boyfriend.
And he was a dick. I mean, like, it's all leading up to them breaking up. Yay. Okay, then we go.
This part's so cute.
They don't usually end, though, with anyone else but Carrie. Usually all the episodes, I feel like at the last scene go back to Carrie usually.
I can almost guarantee you that it was probably supposed to end with that other thing, but then because they've done that before in other episodes where they decided to switch things around. So like I think maybe that this was a little more heartwarming.
It was really
It was
sweet.
so cute.
So basically, Steve calls Miranda after,
and she's already awake because she's awake and like bummed out and like feeling like a bitch, but she's also too big to like call him.
He's like, "Do me a favor, go to the window." She's like, "Okay." He's like, "Now look up," and she's like, "My God."
It's a full moon. I'd be like,
it's
what?
A blue moon. It's
really blue
rare.
moon. Okay.
I just wanted you to see it. It was right then that Miranda finally slowed down and gave in to Steve's big dick. "Come over when you're done, okay?" Yeah.
That's cute. And then they fucked all night. Yeah.
Now, this scene, I wish they wouldn't have ended I wish the last line wouldn't have been this, because it would have made me like the scene
hate the last
more.
line. Yeah,
I feel like they did that
line.
entire scene just for this stupid line, and then it made me hate the scene. It is.
It's the end of Grease.
That night, Miranda and Steve made love, and they did it again in the morning. Miranda was an hour late for work and didn't even know it. So maybe you can't change a man, but once in a blue moon, you can change a woman.
Oh, the blue moon I just put together. Okay, I like that.
That's the part that made me angry.
But yeah, I don't like that. It's like, well, it's okay though. Women can just change. It's way easier for women.
That is ridiculous too. So maybe you can't change a man, but once in a blue moon, you can change a woman.
Right. Then anyway.
Guys, I can't say that Sex in the City gives us positive messages for the future, but if you enjoyed our episode, we are happy. We hope that next week maybe someone will send us one of your sexy stories so we could have something to read.
Well, I was thinking we could also just find some crazy fucked up stories on Reddit and just read those.
Oh yeah, we could.
So maybe I'll think of that. Do you want to hear what next episode is? Sorry, I'm not looking at you, so I'm
no.
You don't?
I said I do.
Oh, you do. Okay. You said I don't. It's called the cast.
Nah. Bye, guys.
The cast system. Carrie and Mr. Big say the big "I love you." Oh, it's a good episode because he gives her that duck purse, right, with all the
like
on
the
it.
Judith Lieber
and
purse.
she has that really long straight hair. She's straightening her hair. Okay, I love this episode. Carrie and Mr. Big say the big "I love you," while Miranda has class problems with her bartender boyfriend. Samantha dates a rich man, and Charlotte gets caught in the fast lane. I don't know what either of those other two things are, but okay. Isn't Samantha always dating a rich man?
Yeah. Well, she sometimes fucks like delivery guys and stuff like that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he wasn't just a UPS guy. He was my UPS guy.
Anyway, guys, if you are in there for the long haul with us and you've made it to an hour and 12 minutes, baby, go over to our freaking Patreon. It's patreon.com/podinthecity. We love you guys so much, and we're so happy every time that we get to see you. And we hope that you'll join us next week again for Pod in the City with Manada and Joan. Bye-bye.
Mwah.